welcome to Joyce Jabbers.
Yeah, we are doing this video the same time because we've got company coming for a week for out of town, and there's no way we're going to get to this when they're here. So
no way.
We have a hard enough time getting to it any other way. So we thought today we'd talk about
Spaceship Next Door
by Jean Doucette. And I'll tell you, it's about a 16-year-old Annie Collins. And the reason I laugh is because she tells everyone she's 16 years old.
Yeah.
Her name is Annie Collins, and that's just
her thing.
Yeah, it's her thing. So much so that this one person who she tells that to says, "What are you going to do when you turn 17?"
We'll turn 18.
When you turn 18.
And she's like, "I'm going to start reminding other people how old they are."
So, but that's how this first half of this book is.
It was very funny. It was very lighthearted and just like, oh, well, let's go around asking, it's a country town, a country girl. It's fun.
Yeah, she knows that this guy is not a reporter who's saying he's a reporter. She's like, "So what's your angle?" And he's like, "My what?"
And she's like, "You really need to work on it."
Yeah.
Because you're not convincing anyone.
You're not fooling anybody. You're not really a reporter. So she helps him come up with stuff, but she offers to be his tour guide, take him around and meet him everyone, because she knows everybody. She literally does know everybody.
And the reason why this government agent is here posing as a reporter is because 3 years ago, a spaceship landed in this small town in the country of America. And it's done nothing. It's just sat there. And so he is like the go-to man for like apocalyptic stuff. So he's going to,
Yeah, he's an analyst, and he comes up with the plan of what they should do. And of course, his plan is, we need to nuke it. Nuke the sucker.
Yeah, so American. So it was really funny to see their interactions. Ed, who's like in his 30s and doesn't really have a sense of humor, and Annie, who is just full-on Southern girl, knows everyone and everything about this town, even knows the military personnel that are stationed. They made a base right by the spaceship, or right surrounding the spaceship, and she knows the crackheads who are in RVs behind the military base. And she'll go like,
well, they're not crackheads. She just knows all the crazy people who are all the crazy people who are in RVs, who have been there since
3 years.
Yeah, is it 2 or 3?
3.
Yeah, so the first part is just great. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's. I was like, this is gonna be a 5-star. I'm gonna want to buy this.
And I have to say, there was some foreshadowing.
There was.
There was points that, in hindsight, I went, yeah, really? I should have seen that. I saw that coming. I should have known that.
And you should know, we're about to get into spoilers, so if you want to read the book, leave. Leave now and then come back.
Okay, go ahead. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so those of you who are okay with the spoilers now, there are zombies.
There are zombies!
And, I'm okay with a zombie book.
Yeah.
Tiff's okay with a zombie book, but this book, okay, with Violet, who is Annie's friend, and she's roughly the same age as Annie, and she has
actually looks kind of like Annie
and
too.
has aged with Annie, the same as Annie, but nobody else remembers Violet. Anytime Annie and Violet are together, and I got a hair on my lip, don't know how that happened. Anytime they're together, she always has to reintroduce Violet to whoever it is.
Violet, and they're like, "Oh yeah, hey,"
And she always has to reintroduce her to everybody, and it's really weird. And I'm like, what's with that? And that should have been, that was the foreshadowing. There was no lantern being hung on this. I mean, they literally, he told us up front this was happening.
But the thing was we went from a nice Southern cozy read to zombies were being chased. It was like we flipped the switch halfway, 3/4 the way into the book, and I was like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
And it slowly went down from 5 stars to 4 to 3 to 2.
And by the time we got to the ending where we find out that the entity on the ship is
Violet's father, creator,
is a thought.
He's an idea.
Yes, he's an idea.
And Violet is an idea who can possess dead bodies.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos for originality. But the way it was being set up, like with the whole southern town, the whole American thing, I was expecting more Roswell. You know, just a good old standard alien.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Something. And then it was that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
And I think it tried to make comparisons to God and the Son coming.
Yeah.
You know, God and Jesus. And I can't make it into a good
it
comparison.
Felt very sacrilegious, and it takes a lot for me to say that.
Yeah. By the time it got down to the end, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted Tiff to read it so that...
And I enjoyed most of it.
I wanted her to read it so that we could talk about it and decide, you know...
What we thought about it.
What was it, you know... Yeah, I knew what I was thinking, but just to have it validated...
Yeah.
You know, and I guess that's why we're doing this video, to validate your feelings if you're with us.
Or for us to just give you our side of the story. If you loved it, cool. We didn't end up loving it.
We loved the first part.
sad.
And the funny thing was Tiffany checked the Goodreads reviews, and basically the people liked the ending and not the first half.
Yeah.
And we're like,
Yeah,
okay.
the people who rated it low were the people who... Am I turning here? I'm not turning here. The people who rated it 2-star, 3-star like us, they hated the first part. They were like, oh, it's so slow and no plot. And I was like, that was the best part.
Yeah, it was funny. That first part was so funny. And okay, now you can't go into it going, I'm going to read this hilarious comedy, you know?
Like,
that's
low expectations.
No, you got to go... Any book, you have to go in with low expectations. But, yeah, this one...
Yeah, and the people who rated 2-3 stars, they're like, oh, the best part was the last part. The best part was in the last 100 pages. And I was like, that was the worst part, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
they could have done it different, you know.
They could have done it a lot different, but, I mean, I can understand why you wanted original aliens.
Yeah, it was definitely original.
Yeah, so the end, it ends up with Annie, she's on the ship, and she meets Violet's creator, and he's like, she's like, what are you? He's like, I am an idea. And she's like, well, share yourself with me. If you're an idea, ideas are meant to be shared. And he's like, you cannot understand me. It would explode your brain. And she's like, try me. And so he shares himself with her, and I think what happened, I'm not positive, because it's not positive. I'm pretty sure what happened was he like became one with her or something.
I don't know if maybe it was all of him or maybe just part of him goes into her.
Yeah.
And she now carries him around as part of her consciousness. I don't know.
She lies to Ed, the government agent. She lies to the president. She lies to everyone and says he went home. He went away.
Yeah.
And then she goes to Violet at the end of the book and says, help me. I don't know what I'm seeing. It's beautiful. It's scary. And they're like, okay. And that's how the book ends. And you would think that would
except for the little ditty where Annie Collins was here on the computer in the Pentagon, in a safe room in the Pentagon. You know, it's like, really, what's that about?
Yeah.
Now, there's a sequel, but we're not interested in the sequel.
And that's the thing, is it ended so on a cliffhanger, and yet I'm not wanting to read the sequel.
At all.
I'm just like, And I read the summary for the sequel, and it just sounds so angsty.
Does it?
It's like 3 years later, Annie's in college, and it says her and her pet spaceship, and all this, and something happens, and everyone is pointing fingers at Annie, saying she wants to destroy the world, and all of this, and I'm like, that just sounds so...
Yeah, so...
No.
Yeah, so it wasn't a great it was fun in the beginning.
It was really fun. But
and
then it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
once we started with the zombies. No, it wasn't the start of the zombies.
No, it wasn't.
It was the furtherance of the zombies.
It was when the zombie plotline just went climaxed. It was like, okay.
When everybody was a zombie.
Everyone who fell asleep became a zombie or a sleepwalker, as Annie and Ed renamed them.
Yeah. So.
And I mean, even still, that did have some funny moments. I mean, it was
okay, but
it was just kind of like, I can't look away.
Yeah.
That was the sort of entertaining it was. It wasn't like, oh, I can't put this down. It was, I can't look away.
And it was the sacrilegious aspect of it that we just, it was just.
I mean, I could take a lot, but I think one of my triggers for sacrilege is when they touch on the I am. You do that and I'm sorry, no. It's like I picked up this one book, I don't even remember what it was, and in the first chapter it ends with I am and lights began.
That's
and I'm like,
that's what I read you from the first page of The Incrementalist.
Well, and I just read that in another book.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, and
that we'd end up with a couple of them?
Oh no, it was in that Loki book I picked up. Loki he's in Ragnarok and all this, and at the end of it he says, and light began again. And I was like, that's strike one.
Yeah.
You get 3 strikes.
Yeah. So, although we enjoyed the first half, and it was nothing.
It was nothing like
there was nothing bad in the book.
Bad.
It was a clean book.
Well, it was a clean book. It did have LGBTQ plus.
Yeah, I mean, that was the other strikes.
I don't hate those people.
Right.
But as a Christian, I think that Christians like to know if that's in there.
Yeah.
And
it's in there. It's
two
just
lesbians.
It's just a mention. Once, and then we are
see
reminded a couple of times these two ladies that are a part.
Couple.
Yeah. We're reminded a couple of times that they are a couple.
Yeah.
And that's the extent of it.
Which is fine.
So,
they weren't graphic or
as far as I'm concerned, that's the best kind of
representation.
Yes. Because you're not throwing it in my face and.
Yeah, and you're not preaching at me.
Yeah.
You know, you don't like if you're not a Christian, you don't like to be preached at. I don't even like being preached at as a Christian. Right. So I mean.
Right. So that's our review of Spaceship Next Door.
Yeah. If you're in the mood for a cozy read turned zombie thriller, do it. But
yeah, and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
See if you're on with us, or if you liked it a whole lot.
Or if you're gonna try it or stay away from it.
Yeah. So I hope you have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.